Well, Bry, if you're looking at the seeding, you'd think this would be a little one-sided, but LickArcade has improved steadily and, more important, quickly throughout the tournament. Lick playing far, far better than you would expect from a number 31 seed. I could see this one going the distance, Bry.
Absolutely. I can't disagree with that. I could see this end up 3-0 for either guy as well. It's going to be very, very tight. The margins will be slim. It's all going to come down to who can min it, who can max it. And if it's too close to call, maybe it'll just come down to that good old RNG Smash TV. And it looks like Taps has already started. Okay, so we'll probably get them lined up here. We are indeed underway. Jackamus Wedge getting them counted down. And indeed, a pause already here. We're underway, guys. Game number 1. Make your call in the chat right now. Who's going to take the early lead in this match? Will it be TapatioJ or LickArcade? What do you say, Jack?
I think we can expect Taps to come out pretty strong here. I think Taps is probably favored to take at least the first game, but the skill level between these two is really close, Bri. I think it's more going to come down to drops than anything else.
Taps having a bit of trouble with a guy leaking out at the end, so the lead will be Lick's. It's going to be a 41 versus almost a 43, so it's about a second and a half, second and 3/4. LickArcade will get the first drop, presumably, but sometimes it appears right away. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, first drop, a foot for LickArcade, at least good to move around and get the upcoming drops, like this other foot. Grenades for Taps, which he is going to ignore, Bri.
You and I disagree on that strategy. I am a hunt for the orb sort of guy. You are more of the ignore it and just fire efficiently.
Yeah, if you trust in how good your accuracy is, you can get away with a lot of crummy drops. But speaking of crummy drops, those are not happening for LickArcade. Rockets, Razor Shield, Orb, the whole shebang, and Taps using a Smart Bomb, but still has to clean up here. Lick is going to come out to an early advantage after 2 rooms. Nothing useful dropping for Taps just yet. It's about an 11-second advantage for Lick.
And look at these rockets just showing up nonstop for Lick. Able to control this room, still kind of struggling a little bit here as Tapatio continues the hunt for an orb. Using the grenades here, a solid move. It allows you to kill those shrapnels and you can keep the swarmers well enough under control.
Yeah, Tap finally gets his orb and even more rockets for Lick right now. Lick being a little aggressive at the door here. Room's not over yet. Almost gets punished for that, but is going to keep the advantage heading into Total Carnage.
Tapatio, once got the orb, had to focus a little more on the shrapnels. There might have been a small time loss involved there. But into Total Carnage with the orb in hand at 2:22.
If it's a small time loss for Taps, it's pretty negligible. He more or less held serve with that room. He had 43 seconds in there, which is basically the best you can do without an immaculate nuke or some late rockets.
Well, regardless, Lick did have to retreat from the middle at one point, so if Taps can hold the middle down, that's a slight gain right there. And Taps really wants to see that Vitamin R, and also maybe an orb drop from Lick, but you don't want to wish ill.
Oh, Taps loses the orb, getting a little too creative with the movement there.
You gotta be careful. Sometimes you can talk yourself into a bad deal. And rockets here, meanwhile, from TapatioJ will help, but it's going to be Lick who has dropped the orb. I didn't see it, but late in the room drops it. 3:14. Meanwhile, Taps finishing the room out has gained some time back, a little bit.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. It's about an 8-second-ish lead for Lick right now. Taps with a tiny amount of rockets. I'm not sure if he's got enough to take out one gunner, but you have to think that he's going to try, Bri, as we get some Taco Bell. Taco Bell! Product placement with Taco Bell!
Yo quiero something. I don't remember how that rest of it goes. Regardless, a foot drop for Lick. Not what Lick wants to see. Let's see if Taps can take out one gunner. Gets an orb. Can get it right now. Just has to be careful swinging around. Does it? Can Taps make it back to the middle? Avoid some shrapnel there, but drops the orb ultimately.
Yeah, pinned in real tight was Taps there. At least somehow had enough rockets to get rid of one gunner and made some use of the orb.
And gets rid of
He's
the
going to get a
second.
replacement here, though.
And a good position as well. There was nothing over there. I was able to get it immediately. Now Rocket's in a somewhat dangerous spot. Will Taps go for them? Does, gets to them, and Lick drops, I believe. No, had Rockets, but never found a replacement orb, I believe.
Yeah, no orb for Lick here, so Tap's starting to pull ahead maybe a little bit here with a huge advantage on drops so far in tank trouble.
Rockets for both here, both grabbing them. Tapatio's really slamming, well, was slamming accurately, but got a little too focused on that one shrapnel. But it's game time. It's basically tied.
Yeah, we've got a basic dead heat going into the boss room. Taps, if he can land that ball buster, should keep pace with Lick, who's got about half a clip of rockets here.
And this is where you get that Drake meme where it's going to be, you know, the ET go ham lock and he's going to be refusing it, and the CHX lock, which is going to be the oh yeah sort of one. So let's see who
Taps got one of the non-reliable ball busters there, Bri. He got it from the side, which can happen, but it's not guaranteed like that sweet spot at the top between the shoulder blades.
Well, geez, it was into his razor blades. That sounds like a bad time. Someone's got to clip that because that is a rare ball buster. I missed it. I do want to see that. Drop it in the Discord. Lick taking down a death here. Can he get to the spreader? Yes!
He does manage to get the spreader. Tap pounding away with the lobber, but Lick going to get a full form, maybe a little bit extra here. Arms gone for both right now. Chest is going to pop for Tapatio. Chest pops for LickArcade. We're in a dead heat again here. We knew this match was going to be close. I don't think we expected it to be this close, Bri.
Absolutely not. And the bit of lobber issues, but Tap should still be in the leader, and indeed has popped the head. Lick sees another spreader. That's a long way to go.
Oh, man. Tap's going to get his. Can Lick keep pace? No, it's going to disappear.
Taps is having trouble getting it, though. The mutoid movement, he got almost no big damage there. Did get to the final form, though. Swings out to safety, gets a rocket. This should be enough. Good job there. You see that, Jack? He got rid of the whole grenade shot before he grabbed the rockets.
Yeah, that's the correct play. Grenades much better DPS on the final form. He's going to pick those ones up just for kicks as Mutoid Man kicks the bucket. But it is going to be TapatioJ who takes game number 1, which was close all the way through. Really, really good opening match here. You have to think that Lick is going to respond and take the next one here, Bri. He's been playing too good to go dry for so long.
Well, right now he just needs to focus up on shooting the shots, and he doesn't even need... See, even then, backing up, he did so much transition damage, it didn't matter. That's how big that transition damage is to the final form. As much luck as the spreader is for getting you good damage early in the fight, that transition can mean everything in a fight. Craziness. TapatioJ up 1-0 here, Jack.
Yeah, up 1-0, best of 5, so early advantage to Taps, who strikes first. And now I just want to see how Lick responds to this one there, because it really all just came down to Taps having that spreader in a much better location than Lick's. They took the death at the same time, the spreader spawned at the same time, and just a little different from there on, but that was the difference maker in this match. Your TSN turning point, if you will.
If you will, and I shall. But regardless of that, I do have to say as well, it was a little bit better in the regular arena for Tapatio, despite the drops being a little inferior overall, was a little more aggressive and was able to make them work just a smidgen a little better while staying in the middle. And that got him back into the matchup, despite trailing the whole way, got back to tied in tank trouble.
Yeah, right you are, Bri. All right, looks like both our racers are ready for game number 2, so I'm going to give them the countdown.
Countdown coming here. It's 1-0 in this best of 5 elimination match. The loser goes home. The winner moves on to face Oopla, who almost made it onto the top 3 positioning in the leaderboard today. Just missing out on catching up to Prince Leaf. Sitting at, it looks like a very low 533 with a new PB that has yet to be frame counted. So you'll love to see that improvement. And man, Oopla is just charging up there and kind of putting an extra little exclamation mark on the whole chase that's going on right now to get those crazy good times.
Yeah, absolutely, Bri. Oopla, definitely someone that we can't be sleeping on anymore. But here we are starting game number 2 between TapatioJ and LickArcade in this elimination match here Tuesday, 420 on GG Speedruns.
Both getting that manipulation jack and now just setting up and hopefully not going to get grenades or nukes on the feet. Both of those are just out of the way for them to hold down these firing lanes.
Yeah, just keep it in the middle is their strategy. Allow the swarmers from the bottom door to run into the shield. And we're going to be pretty much even heading in to collect power-ups. A high 39 for Lick and a low 40 for Taps.
Like to see that? It's probably like a third of a second, if that. LickArcade here, getting the first drop potentially, because again, as we said, it all comes down to how it cycles. We don't completely understand how it does that, but both getting grenades, we understand that. We understand that is the hot garbage.
Yes, it is, and we would once again like to remind those of you in our audience, please keep the trash throwing into the arenas at a minimum.
An orb on the feet for TapatioJ. A razor shield here for Lick, so that'll help a little. But man, that's a fortuitous drop for Taps.
It's a gift from the gods.
And despite that, it's going to be pretty close. Taps at 129. Shrapnel explodes for Lick, so that's going to cost a second or two. It's about a 3-second lead here. Oh, Taps didn't kill that one near him to his left, but was able to swing the orb by. I don't know if that was intentionally done, but saved the orb.
Flirting with disaster, but did get away with it, Brian. Now in control of the room. Lick using those grenades, and now a razor shield can at least ignore the swarmers for a bit. And now an orb, so Lick should be fine. Just get the Shraps back under control and go to business inside the rest of the room.
Ooh, that grenade grab a little dicey here, but able to get rid of them with no harm, no foul. As TapatioJ should be done the room here now. Gets the dude!
Yep, and about half a clip of rockets here for Taps, so a nice opening to Total Carnage here. And then immediately gets a razor shield. Rich getting richer here in game number 2, Bri.
And that room extended the lead for TapatioJ. It's about 11 seconds here at the start of Total Carnage. Let's see if Lick can maybe start biting in this lead, but these drops for Taps are smoking right hot. Fun times. TapatioJ could be loving that.
Yep, he definitely is. There's another spreader for Taps. He might barely be able to get it, but electing not to chance if it's on the right pixel or not. Those razor shields do block you from going all the way to the wall while they're active.
I will add that, being 420 and all, TapatioJ, a weed enthusiast, probably loving these drops right now. And, thinking about what he... Just celebrate.
Right you are, Bri, as he enters the bonus room at a 310. Lick still has some work to do here in Total Carnage, so Tap's lead is starting to grow here. This is going to be the end of the room, though.
That was a dicey spreader grab, but Licks gets it done. It's a big lead.
Yeah, about a 16-second lead for Taps, but we are both in the bonus room, Bri. Take it away.
Well, something about Taco Bell and eating it, I'm not 100%. Look at these drops. Oh, my goodness. Rockets for Taps. Able to easily clean up the gunners here. Has to be careful of the shrapnels. Gets into vulnerability. Won't have to worry about it. Just needs to get control now.
Yeah, Taps getting everything he needs and controlling the center pretty good. Goes for the smart bomb. Always a great drop in tank trouble, but the only time you won't pick it up is if you have those rockets that Taps gets yet again here, Bri.
These drops for Taps are nuttier than a pecan log. Oh my goodness, great drops here in tank trouble.
Yeah, rockets for Lick, and Lick making very efficient use of them to keep pace with Taps here. But might be a little too late in the tank trouble for Lick. Tap is going to be into the boss room at a 426. A fantastic entry for Taps.
If I was Cards fan, I would call my shot right now and say, here comes our 21st member of the Sub-6 Club right here, right now.
If the drops continue like they have been, Bri, we could be seeing a massive PB from Taps here. First drop lobber, not the spreader, but still the second best weapon you do have access to here.
Unfortunately, the swirl did steal ball buster chance, and man, Mutoid's position here has been pretty rotten for lobber shots.
Yeah, and grenades now, and no more grenades, so PB chance evaporating for Taps, but still comfortably ahead. First arm in the midst of exploding right now as Lick finally gets started on Mutoid Man.
These drops for Taps have stolen any chance of a PB, unfortunately. The lobber's chaining would have given him a chance with accurate fire. Second arm popped here. If Mutoid just stops, lets him get the lobber, that was kind.
That was unexpectedly kind of Mutoid Man, Bry.
Chest pop now. These lobbers showing that consistent damage you get out of them really adds up, especially in a tournament race. You give me all lobbers, I'd be happy as a clam.
Oh, here's a big spreader for Lick. Will Lick make it? Bear.
No,
Whoa, does
no,
not.
no, and head pop now for TapatioJ. Has a key but can ignore it here. Can probably even pop the final four. Let's focus on the fire. Misses the late stuff here. It's another lobber. He's going to have to be careful. Great running to make sure he got it and did start firing. So the maximum sprinting was safe. Final four. Well, Lick pops the second arm.
Yeah, huge advantage here for Taps. There's another spreader for Lick, but again, on the wrong side and far too far away from the doors. No real way to kill himself for that free invulnerability.
I gotta say, I've been impressed by TapatioJ's maneuvering in the Mutoid Man room. Really dancing well in tight on Mutoid, and that is not easy to do. Something you need to master if you're going to make it into the top tiers of this game.
It's not just the footwork, Bry, it's the calmness. Towards the last form switch there, he had a shrapnel right up in face. But he just, was calm, stood still, stood a little bit below the shrapnel's walk path, kept bouncing the lobber shots off the wall. Just really calms heads-up play from Taps. And Taps, at the absolute top of his game, drops certainly playing into his favor as well, but he's looked very dominant so far through the first two games of this set, Bry.
Yeah, this is, he's been working hard, he's been putting the grind in, so those efforts are looking to be paying off here. Not panicking, and as you said, in certain situations, just letting the game come to him. Meanwhile, Lick paused, could have maybe got that lobber, but the game's like, fine, we'll throw a lobber on your feet. How do you like that?
Well, as they say, Bry, the game knows, so here's all the lobbers you need to finish off Mutoid now that there's nothing left to play for. No victory, no PB, no nothing.
So with that, LickArcade is now down 2-0. Can Lick force a game 4? Or will the calmness and the veteran savvy of TapatioJ going to bear some fruit?
Well, we'll find out pretty soon because I'm going to check with them and then perhaps give them the countdown, and we'll get game number 3 underway here shortly. I think Lick has to. I think Lick can take at least one of the remaining games, Bry. They're really close. Lick just the less focused of the two runners, not to mention the drops favoring Taps, but I think Lick can at least force a game 4 here.
The drops have made the gaps large in the finishing times, but all things being equal in the Mutoid Man room, Tapatio would still be winning these runs, has been the better runner thus far. So Jack and Miss Wedge getting them set up here for game number 3. Can LickArcade force a game 4? Or are our two matches tonight going to be back-to-back sweeps? We'll have to wait and see, because there was the one night everything went 4 or 5 or 7. But then we have nights where they're just sweeps. It's wild how this game can swing. But that's just how she goes sometimes.
It's a gambler speedrunner, and I think that's why it's very appealing to a lot of us older folk.
Well, I have to say almost every runner, rookie or veteran alike, that was in the tournament this year has absolutely enjoyed the tournament. One notable exception, I suppose, who really did not like this game as a speed run and probably will never play it again. Game number 3, Tapatio versus Lick.
And away we go.
So let's see if Lick can get her done. But, if all things being equal, I think Taps is going to finish the sweep here in game number 3.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, Bri. Both of them getting the Razor Shield manip as per usual here. Lick being a little more aggressive with his Razor Shield here in game number 3, electing to bring the contact damage directly to some of the doors. Great nuke from Taps is going to have him keep pace with Lick. I think they're both going to be out of here dead, complete, even.
In fact, I think based on timers, that it's maybe like a quarter of a second for Lick, just based on the slight differentials here. But regardless, here we go. Let's see what the drops are. Grenade versus an orb. Lick gets a drop that Lick wanted.
Yeah, the drops are telling Lick, hey, we're going to give you a chance. It's on you if you play good. You can force this thing to a game 4. Rockets, meanwhile, for Taps, but he walks right into a Shrappy.
I have to say my feet froze at the exact moment Taps walked into that.
So you got a nice freeze frame of the action then. Oh, Lick gets sabotaged with grenades, has to manually walk up and finish off the last shrapnel, but is going to be in to eat my shrapnel at a 127. So pulling ahead early against Taps here in game number 3. It's about a 10-second lead. We did see this in game 1, Bri, which Taps came back to win pretty comfortably, though. So Lick not out of the woods yet, just has to keep pushing the envelope. Ball in his court, just has to keep playing, keep that orb, fire good, dance good, the whole shebang.
I gotta say again, this is like game 1. A lot of vitamin R here for Lick in a room, and you only need a little. So it would be nice to see it perhaps come up in a later room.
Yeah, save some of those rockets for tank trouble. That's the room that you want rockets more than anything else.
So total carnage here, has to escape, and more rockets. The luck is favoring Lick thus far. More
rockets everywhere, and not a clip for Taps.
Well, that was pretty solid. I'm going to have to give you a tip of the hat. No wag of the finger there. Rockets now for Taps. Lick is holding the middle down. No problem. More rockets. This is crazy.
Yeah, rockets. All the rockets in the world.
The other thing I will say is Lick's been a little loose with the firing lanes, but when you're getting nothing but rockets, everything is eventually going to eat a rocket. It wasn't as good as yours.
You did your best, Bri, but you failed miserably. The lesson is, never try.
The lesson is, get world record and grind it down so low so no one can ever possibly touch it. Got it. So a 308 here for LickArcade. Let's see what Taps got. Has Taps seen an orb yet?
No, he has not.
Might be able to use that nuke to end the room here. Might have gone early, though. Nope, that was it.
Nope, he played it good, yep.
A 16-second lead, and that's enough time for some Taco Bell. Taco Bell product placement with Taco. Are those more rockets? Well, I'm just going to see. Nope, it's a spreader, though.
It's a spreader. It's a spreader, though. A spreader is kind of like a rocket in that it's a good weapon.
And now a nuke. Oh, if he'd recognized it, he could. He still got it done. Look at this.
Yeah, missed a few of those initial shots at the turret there, but able to finish it off. Another nuke here for Lick. Lick just getting everything great here in game number 3. And to his credit, Lick maybe a little erratic with the movement, like you said, but is controlling the center and has pretty decent firing lanes.
I'd have to say this is the best Lick has played for just staying in the middle. The firing lanes here have been better than they were in Total Carnage. This room's just tough to hold the middle for most runners.
Yeah, absolutely. It has one of the highest spawn rates of any room in the entire game, let alone this first arena.
Like look at this. This is phenomenal. This tank trouble. If Lick pulls this whole room off, this is a top 10 potential.
Yeah, that last shrapnel was floating on him, but this is how you respond when you're facing elimination, Bri. I mean, drops helping you out, but just really, really great play from Lick here. Lick is not going down without a fight.
Rockets to open. Love to see that. Let's see if there'll be a good follow-up. More rockets. Still has the orb intact, though. Can get them all out before the next drop. Well, gets bumped off there. Loss of the orb.
Yeah, 459 entry for Taps into the boss room. Comfortable lead here for Lick. Drops can swing this, though. Lick needs to start getting better drops. That lobber will help out as the first arm goes down.
Delayed swirl here for Taps. You hate to see that. It just makes you so nervous. Second arm pop for Lick now. Taps, hoping some of that luck maybe to come in. Here's a spreader.
Here's a big spreader opportunity
Oh, yeah.
for Lick. He's definitely going to make it, Bry.
And then Mutoid just pushes into him. Now, don't die for that one. Yeah, that's the better choice. Just watch out, though. You're too... Oh.
Just a little too close there, unfortunately, but does get a form and change out of the two spreaders there, and now pounding away with lobbers. We should see that head pop pretty soon. Another spreader, going to have to manual it. Playing very cautious on the manual rather than aggressively. Probably the better choice. Don't want to get run over. And a good manual puts him on the final form. 4 forms ahead of Taps here. Bry, I think we are definitely going to see ourselves a game 4.
It is looking really likely now. Great run here from Lick. Easily the best Lick has played. That tank trouble, as much as anything else, the drops were great in every other room. Drops were decent in tank trouble, but Lick made it work, did not drop the orb, and that is how you stave off elimination. Well
Absolutely. Done. Fantastic showing from Lick here. It's going to be about a 629, maybe a high 628. Really, really great run from Lick, and we're going to game 4, Bry.
You love to see it. Somebody digging deep and getting a great performance. Now Lick just has to do it again to get into that elimination game 5 where you never know what's going to happen. It's like playoff hockey. You know, someone will have sudden death and someone will have sudden life.
Yeah, and you know, unlike playoff hockey, though, I don't think we have any fraud players in our late stages of the tournament like last year's Dallas Stars. Ooh, I hope there's no Stars fans here. Did I just call your team awful? Because I did.
That's okay. It could have been the Flames who are. Well, hopefully that didn't get cut off. I was calling the Flames a massive fraud.
It got cut off somewhat and made me quite confused because you just seemed to trail off into nothingness there.
That's the way she goes sometimes, boys. Once the wife is home and using the fire stick upstairs, it gets pretty rotten here. So with that, we will have a game number 4, boys and girls. Can LickArcade force that decisive and final game 5, or will TapatioJ nail it down here and be into a matchup with Oopla, where the winner of that will move on to the money rounds?
Well, and both of our racers are ready, so I'm going to give them the countdown, Bry, and we'll get underway here with game number 4.
And we'll have to wait and see how it's going to go, but I know Lick can't depend on those crazy drops of the first half of the run, but if Lick can channel that tank trouble and that control of the middle and just being able to dance that orb around safely, even if you're not controlling it perfectly, keeping that orb can carry you through a lot of junk. Let's have to wait and see here. We are underway. TapatioJ up 2-1 in this matchup. Needs to win 1. LickArcade has won the last race, though, and needs to win 2 more. But you can only win 1 at a time. Here we go. Game number 4, Jack.
Yep, game number 4 underway here. And immediately Lick using his Razor Shield on the right door. Popular strategy from a lot of the higher runners. If you can predict your opening setup, you will know to an extent where the first swarmers are going to come out of.
Both getting a nuke opportunity here, but Taps ignores it. I think I like that play. It was in such a rotten location. Lick,
yeah, that was absolutely the play from Taps. It was on the wrong side of the room, and all last 10 or so of the swarmers just came out that door. All he had to do was just walk right over them.
Yeah, if it was a small spawn, maybe the nuke pays off, but that big...
We'd like to apologize for that pause. He didn't know his mic was off.
Goodness gracious. Anyway, they both get rockets. I was just saying that small spawn, the nuke kind of, equals things out. If you use it with that big spawn, they can spill everywhere, and that can be a real problem.
Yeah, really effective firing of those rockets here by Taps inside collect power-ups.
He does get a spreader in his wheelhouse there right at the end of the room, but yeah, those rockets were well executed.
Yeah, that spreader, a little bit of sabotage, because he could have definitely finished off the room with what he had left in his clip there.
nuke to start it for Taps. Going to ignore it. Going to hopefully be able to hold things down. Ignoring the shrapnels that are exploding. That's how you do. Oh, Lick gets swirled, and there's 4 on screen, so there's definitely a time penalty there.
Lick did his best Starwind impression, Bry, but there can only be one Starwind, and it is not Lick or anyone else for that matter. Tap's going to get the first orb here in game number 4.
We're all eternally grateful that can only be one Starwind. Well, with that said, we are just watching 2 of our competitors who are trying to take it down. Taps actually had some trouble there a little late in the room, so lost a little bit to the Swarmers, but not as much as Lick has lost here. As you can see, the shrapnels are done.
Yeah, both of them really good at focusing on the shrapnels there, but you do need to take out the very tiny amount of Swarmers in the room as well, Bry.
And nothing doing here for Lick early, and Rockets now for TapatioJ still holding down that orb, and a clubbing of Lick. This is starting to look a little dire. Red lights are flashing on the panel. There's some alerts going off right now.
Yeah, definitely, Brian. There's a nuke for Taps. He's comfortably in control of the room. I think it's worth getting because there's 3 shrapnels on the screen, though.
Always a solid move, especially when you're getting towards that 3-minute mark.
Lick finally gets that orb. He's going to be considerably behind Taps at the end of the room, but just keep that orb. Hope for some rockets and tank trouble. Give yourself a chance to turn this around.
Oh, I do not agree with that. The room is over. Don't go for a key near a mine. That almost ended in disaster.
Oh, and a little too aggressive was Lick going for that spreader and lost his orb now.
Okay, I'm back.
And the Swarmers still coming out for Lick. They finally stop, but Tapatio going to walk into tank trouble slightly before Lick goes into the bonus room. Yeah, it's about a half a minute difference right now, Bry. Not looking good for Lick's tournament chances here so far.
This is looking very eerily reminiscent of how the end of our first matchup of the night went, where one of our competitors fell behind early and just couldn't stop the bleeding, and in fact, made it worse with every move.
Yeah, well, I think Lick can respond here. Lick showed some signs of life with that spreader and total carnage, but just a small misstep caused him to lose that orb.
Taps finally drops the orb, but was really controlling things for a while there. And trying to get to that spreader, is fighting and gets there. That was some excellent routing. Just drawing the enemy away and then firing them down, whittling them down, and getting to it.
And not only that, Bry, having the presence of mind to just barely walk into it since it was sitting right on top of that mine.
So a 4:35 here for TapatioJ. PB not out of the question, but gonna need some cooperation here for sure with some good spreaders. Probably 2 well-placed spreaders will get it done. And ignores the lobber. Well done. You gotta kill that swirl first.
Yeah, that is the play there. Make sure that swirl isn't just bouncing around. You're not going to hit that thing with a lobber. They move so erratically. But now looks like it's lobbers, lobbers, lobbers. We're kicking it old school for Taps. Lick still inside tank trouble.
But he's not going to be able to die for it here. Can he manual? So far, that was a solid amount there. Does die, but gets a form out of it.
Yeah, form out of it. The invulnerability.
And gets a weapon. 515.
At least a weapon.
Into Mutoid Man's room. Can we see another spreader? We would need another spreader for Taps to have a PB opportunity here. Let's see.
And we'd need a couple of spreaders for Lick for him to get back into this race. At least those rockets playing in sync with the orb will get rid of the gunners. But 2 forms behind right now is Lick. He's going to need some help to get caught up here.
Well, there was some help from Mutoid. Blocked that second spreader from Taps. Would have had to manual it anyway, but it was completely blocked. Unable to pick it up was TapatioJ.
Yeah, and both racers right there.
Here you go.
Oh, here we go. That's the spreader that Taps wants. That's the God spreader. You can just already move Mutoid to that final form. But a really good spreader here for Lick, too. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, Bry.
No, this lobber should be enough, and there it is. TapatioJ gets a great spreader, even with the lobber on the feet during the transition. The damage had been done. TapatioJ is moving on here, Jackamus, to face Oopla in the loser round 3 coming up sometime in the next week, no doubt.
Yep, definitely, Bry. That's going to be a 3-1 victory for Taps here. Unfortunate luck for Lick Arcade. Probably played his game of the tournament in Game 3. Really great showing there, but just unable to match that focus and intensity here in Game 4. Had a lead early on, but it seemed like it just went away.
And Lick there dancing between lasers and a mine, not dying. That was pretty awesome. And there it is. So Lick Arcade's tournament comes to a close, but another very solid position on the leaderboard established here. I really thought Tap for a second was going to drop that. And Tap calling out the heavy weapons crew, the HWC, with the initials, moving on to face Oopla.